Morning everyone. This is take two. I recorded my whole video this morning earlier and then discovered the microphone was off, which is a bit pants, to use a technical term. So I'm doing it again and it'll probably be better. So the image you saw as this video began was of the handwritten page of Bob Dylan's notebook with the lyrics reworked and reworked until he was happy with them for the times they are a-changing. A song that came out in 1964 that was for him a kind of an anthem for that time in America's life and the world's life, and has words that are still resonant today in lots of ways, maybe especially during coronavirus time, thinking about the way that life will never be the same again in some ways. The reason why I showed you a picture of those is because you can currently buy that page. It's for sale through a memorabilia website that has the most astonishing range of letters and pages out of all kinds of things. But it's not cheap. It'll set you back £1.8 million. Well, that's the asking price. It may go for more, it may go for less. Some months ago, the original handwritten page of the lyrics of To Hey Jude, written by the Beatles, was sold for over £900,000. 9 times more than the auctioneers suspected they might get for it. So who knows what the times they are a-changing will sell for. And the curious thing is, what makes the words on the page that you can hold, although you probably never hold it, you'd have it in some kind of holder, some kind of protective cover. What makes that £1.8 million more valuable than just looking at the image on the screen of those exact things? Or printing that image so that you held a page that had the image of it rather than the original writing. It's a curious thing, that kind of market and the kind of value we attach to things that are original in that way. I was looking through a book of poetry a couple of days ago by St. John of the Cross, a Jesuit who wrote The Dark Night of the Soul, a very powerful exploring of crisis, of midlife, I guess, in some ways. We talk about that, of journeying into deep emotion and deep meaning in life. And in that book of poetry, which I haven't looked at for ages and I've never noticed before, out fell this. It's a postcard, handwritten by a woman called Hilda to Miss Hodgson, who has to be her sister, who lives in Liverpool. Given the address, it was posted in Lytham St Anne's on the 17th of August 1939. It's a very ordinary postcard from a woman and her mother to her sister to just say, we're having a lovely holiday, the weather's been okay, we might stay for longer, we don't know yet, and we hope that you're well. And the image on the front is of the waterfall and the promenade at St Anne's on Sea. And it's a bit of cardboard, but the funny thing is that when it fell out and I picked it up, it felt enormously poignant, because here was something someone had handled and had handwritten, lovely handwriting by the way, and then posted 81 years ago to Miss Hodgson to say hello and how are you, and this is how we are, and we're having a lovely time. There's something quite powerful about handwriting and about letters and about things that are uniquely personal in that way. Most of the New Testament, certainly in terms of the number of books, is taken up by letters written by Paul the Apostle and by others on his behalf or independently, on their own bat, to communities, to early churches, to individuals, to families, to 2 or 3 people. And those letters are a mixture of encouragement and greetings and teaching and a little bit of finger wagging in some cases about doing things properly or the way that the author thinks they should be done. But they are very personal and they are intimate and they're full of longing and desire and missing people, and they are what letters should be in those kinds of ways. They include elements of offering forgiveness and asking for forgiveness, and all kinds of things that are fundamentally about human relationship, and not just about sort of teaching or orthodoxy or what we should believe or how we should do things in the right kind of way. On a Monday, what I've tried to do over the last few weeks is give you a bit of homework. Now, I hope that doesn't feel like a pat on the head or any kind of patronizing. But sometimes it's good to do something. And there's lots of advice at the moment about how to do things, how to craft things and get some exercise and keep busy, and lots of advice in terms of mental health and all kinds of things that are about doing things. I don't know if you can hear that thudding, but I don't know what my boys are doing upstairs. Anyway, it sounds interesting. They both have their bedrooms above the study, so I hear them quite a bit. Today I want to invite you, if you'd like to put a pen to paper and maybe to write a letter. Write some notes. Write some things down that are personal, that are intimate, that are maybe things you want to say to someone who's part of your life that you can't see right now or haven't seen for a long time. Things that will have a degree of preciousness because they come on a piece of paper rather than on a screen or in a voice message. Faces and voices are hugely important at this time, and isn't it wonderful that we have this technology? But there's something enduring about a letter, about something written down, that makes it not so much permanent, but makes it powerful in a way that thoughts or feelings or words that are expressed in other ways don't always find themselves able to carry with the same kind of power. There's something very precious about things that are handwritten. Now, I have appalling handwriting. I really do. I write things down and I can't read them a couple of days later, and I wonder what they mean. I wrote my daughter a long letter. She turned 17 a couple of months ago, and I wrote her a long letter, and I have to confess I typed that and printed it nicely on A5 paper, but all I could do was choose a font that had the kind of handwriting I'd aspire to have, the kind of handwriting that Hilda has in her postcard, because I know that the things I wanted to say to my daughter would be a labour of love for her to read if she had to sift her way through my handwriting in order to try and just see what I'd said, never mind all that lay behind that and was within that. And I have to be honest, I thought long and hard about it. It wasn't an easy decision to make to print that, but in the end I did, and I still don't know whether I should have just taken the time to write it slowly and neatly. I don't know. But there is something powerful about a letter, about words expressed in that ancient form of communication that has been around for centuries and centuries, and only very recently been challenged by the 144 now 288 characters of a tweet or an email or this kind of technology, which is wonderful, but isn't the same. Not better or worse, but just isn't the same. So today, maybe in the course of today or in the days to come, maybe sit down and write a letter. Write a letter to somebody that you want to say some things to. Say some things beautiful and encouraging. Maybe say some things that might not be easy to say. Maybe offer or ask for forgiveness from somebody for some breakdown in your relationship, in your life, some disappointment, some hurt that's been there. But to in a way that is quite permanent and powerful and enduring, say some precious things to someone about themselves. Maybe the letter you need to write is a letter to yourself. Not so much a sort of a wish list, a bucket list of things that you want to be and do once coronavirus is out the way and we're allowed and we choose to confidently walk out into the street again and have all the options and more that we had before. Maybe less. We'll wait and see. But maybe there are things you want to say to yourself to come back to in a year's time, or 2 years' time, or 5 years' time, or whenever it feels appropriate. about you and about what you're learning about yourself in this time. And maybe to offer yourself those same kind of words. To write kind things to yourself about yourself. To remind yourself in the future of the things you know now to be true, about who you are and what matters most, and what makes your life precious. Maybe things that you need to forgive yourself for, or just let go of, that you deeply feel now are just insignificant, but that you know will come back into your life at some point, and might cast a shadow over your experience of your own self in some way. Not that you won't feel that, but that you can say to yourself that you know you've been in a place. You know you've been in a place where you are clearer, if you are clearer, about the things that matter and the things that don't. So that's today's homework. The times, they are a-changing. They are. And who knows what the times will be like when we come through this and look back on it, and what lessons we will learn, and what things we will find affirming, and what things we will want to let go of for a very long time or forever, in our lives, in our society, in our economics, in our being church, in every part of what it means for us to be ourselves. Write a letter. If you have pretty handwriting like Hilda, then write in your pretty handwriting. If you have ugly handwriting like me, write it anyway. If you have beautiful paper, use it. If you have ordinary paper, use it. But maybe rekindle, or for the first time find joy in the art of putting pen to paper, and not writing perfect words, but writing in an authentic way some of the things you want to say to somebody else or to yourself about who they are or who you are, and what matters most right now in your life, and why that's important, and why you want them to know that, or why you want to remind yourself of those things in the times to come. And if you have £1.8 million, well, please get in touch. I will send you, however fancy you want it, a beautiful printed copy of Bob Dylan's original manuscript, and you can make a donation of anything up to £1.8 million to the causes that I care about, and the way that the church that I serve and its partners all over the place are changing the world. I joke, of course. I joke. But there is something precious about handwriting on a page. Not £1.8 million precious, but there is something precious about that. And maybe one of the things to rekindle for a season, even, just while we have the time and the space to do that, and we don't have each other in our lives to take for granted in the way that we often have. There are some letters that you might want to write and post, or never post, or keep for a while, and then decide what to do with later on. Put pen to paper, see what comes, and be blessed by that. And if you want to, as part of the end of this, just have a look. The original 1964 video, it's very sort of blurry and wonky, of Bob Dylan singing "The Times They Are A-Changing." The words need some thinking about still. I'll pop the link onto the Facebook page that this is attached to, and you can have a look at that afterwards on YouTube. Have a great day, and I'll see you tomorrow. And maybe take out a pen and see what flows from your head and your heart onto a page in whatever direction.